Hello, and welcome to the Ordinary People Show. My name is Jacqueline Dixon, and I'm your host, and I'm excited today to share with you something that we all love to hear about, a happy ending. Today's guest is going to take you on a walk to explain and to demonstrate exactly what ordinary people who decide to do extraordinary things can do. Hello, Richard Miller. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on the Ordinary People Show. I've been so excited to have you here on set with me to share your story for such a long time. And we certainly appreciate and anticipate what you're going to share with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. And it's my pleasure to be here today. And I look forward for this interview today.
Richard, let's start at the beginning, which is kind of not the beginning. Let's start at the beginning of the success story that we're currently experiencing right now. You are the founder of an organization called Keep6ix. What is Keep6ix?
Keep6ix is a nonprofit organization that caters to individuals that has been gone through the justice system. We also cater to individuals from the marginalized community and support individuals in education navigating through the justice system.
Amazing.
Thank you.
So that seems like a huge undertaking, and I'm thinking to myself, this is the Ordinary People Show. What would make an ordinary person want to get involved in such a huge undertaking? Can you tell us, how does that connect with Richard Miller?
It connects very deeply with me. Myself personally had experience with the justice system, and after my own lived experience, I wanted to make a change in young people's life, but also be able to educate them and also their families how to navigate through the system. So with that said, I started Keep6ix because I felt it was something that was needed in our community to support, but also the big factor of education.
So, if I'm understanding it correctly, you had a personal lived experience where you were involved with the criminal justice system, and that experience is what has inspired you to launch this platform called Keep6ix.
Yes, definitely.
So let me ask, so many people from many backgrounds get involved in the criminal justice system, and their experience has left them with life-altering circumstances. In your particular case, what type of a circumstance or what type of a outcome did your experience have on your life?
My experience consists of I was officially charged with assault causing bodily harm, and that incident got me convicted and also incarcerated. While I was going through the system, I had to take time to address the offense itself, but also I had to mentally restructure my mind and body to be going through the experiences. What I noticed was a great amount of depression I had to overcome, but I also had to overcome the racism and the injustice that takes place. But it was just not myself alone, it was other individuals that was around me also going through their own experiences.
So you're saying that as a person that was incarcerated, even dealing with your own demons and getting your life back on track, doing everything that you could, you were experiencing hardship during that period of time because of some injustices that were being inflicted upon you by the system itself?
Yes, that is correct, 100%.
Can you share with us some of the injustices that a person like yourself or other inmates would have experienced?
Within the system itself, when you are from the marginalized community or you're not fit in the box that the society or the system itself is built for you to be able to fit in, you tend to go against the grain and you tend to have repercussion. It comes down to the fact of even when it comes time for you to be released, they will even put in orders on you for you to stay longer and do all of your sentences. It's just a world itself. There's a lot of corruption takes place. It's fair to say.
So, speaking from the perspective of a person that's been on the inside of the criminal justice system, you can now openly and honestly say it needs reform. Is that what we're talking about here? We're talking about advocacy for reform? And if so, what type of reform would you like to see happen?
Reform is definitely needed. We have to start out by accountability. Accountability needs to be within the system. They need to be able to take accountability for the action and the wrongdoings. Right across the board, from our provincial to our federal government, they need to take accountability and start restructuring, real training, but also take a look at how they've been operating and try to find other ways, to address issues that's taking place and hear the voice of the individuals who are speaking up about these things. Don't try to suppress them. Allow them to speak and allow them to, address the issues that comes forth.
So you're one of those individuals. You're one of those individuals who decided that you wanted to have your voice heard. You wanted to share your story, good, bad, or ugly. Can you tell us what the reception was like for you when you first started to share your story?
It was very difficult when I first started. There's a lot of pushback, but in the same token, it was a situation where you had a group that was a pushback, and you had another group who wanted, for you to go forward. So I was very fortunate to say that I had a great deal of support from individuals in my community. I had some wonderful defense lawyers who stood by my side, and I had community members also who stood by my side and advocated also, but also they were able to navigate me in certain areas that I was not familiar with.
Amazing. There are so many people, I would assume, that once they go through an experience like you went through, would just simply want to forget everything about it and leave it all behind, forget that it ever happened. But you chose not to do that. You chose to face your hardship head on, and not just face your hardship and deal with it on a personal basis, but also to bring into account the criminal justice system and the processes and procedures that they have implemented that don't necessarily work to the benefit of people that are incarcerated.
Yes, that is so true. I think right now the climate we're on, the George Floyd situation played a big role also. But at the same time, we have to be able to look at what's really going on around us, and also be able to be at the table when it comes to the decision making. That's one of the big things. For us to move forward, we have to be able to have a voice and be able to speak about what we see and what's taking place.
Richard, a lot of community members, the general public, we're not exactly sure on how the criminal justice system operates and the various different levels of incarceration that there is within the system itself. Can you better explain it so that the average person can understand how this system works?
So we have two levels of government. We have our provincial government, we have our federal government. Anyone who goes through the justice system on a provincial level, they can be serving anywhere from a 10-day sentence all the way to 2 years less 1 day. That individual now would be serving that sentence in a provincial facility, which we have them from Milton, Lindsay, Toronto, and Peterborough. So those are your provincial government facilities. Then you have your federal government facilities. Those facilities carries anybody who's serving a sentence of 2 years plus 1 day all the way to a life sentence. Majority of our federal government facilities are located in Kingston, Ontario. We have one in Gravenhurst, we have one in Workworth, and we have the female facility in Kitchener, Ontario.
Wow. You mentioned racism. Can I assume that a vast majority, maybe, of the inmate population, whether it is provincial or federal, are people of color, or is that too much? Is that not correct?
No, that's a very fair statement. It's fair to say that just off the top of my head, not having any numbers, I would say about 80%.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So the racism that's being, that you have experienced and maybe some other individuals, are being imposed upon by, is it the guards themselves or the people that are running the institutions, or is it the system that's set up that way?
It's fair to say that the system is set up that way. The system itself is built a way that it works. And a lot of people say, well, the system is broken. The system is not broken. The system is built specifically to work that way. The only thing different when it comes to the system, we're in 2024, the system has been working the same way for the last 500 years. It's just a modern day slavery, that's what I call it.
Amazing. So Richard, now that you're out, and now that you've seen from a very hands-on perspective, what happens when a person is engaged or intertwined in the system, you've now made a commitment to yourself and to the community to make some real tangible changes. Can you tell us about some of the changes that you have been initiating since being released?
Some of the changes involve our mental health. When an individual or anyone goes through the justice system, your mental well-being is a big factor. You have to more or less go in an area where you have to survival mode within the system, and you come back out, you have to reprogram yourself against society. Unfortunately, a lot of young people, they don't get that opportunity. Mental health is something in our community that isn't addressed a lot. Second of all, young people or individuals in our community do realize, have the clear understanding of how to address their mental health needs. So that's something that I've taken up. I've been able to connect with individuals in their community that are psychotherapists, that are able to work with individuals that needs and want to move forward to overcome those challenges. Employment is another factor, and skilled trades for our young people. A lot of our young people don't understand that the trades have a vast majority of opportunities. So what I've done is trying to reach these individuals in our community and connecting them with their unions and so forth to build a sustainable life for themselves and their family.
Richard, this is absolutely amazing. We are going to get ready now for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I want to pick it up where we left off. I want to talk about the initiatives that you've just touched on that Keep6ix.org has been implementing, and some of the results that you have experienced since starting this foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us on the Ordinary People Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Was that 4 or 5? He's lost count and still thinks he can drive. Do you think he knows that when he is caught and charged with impaired driving, he'll lose his license and a lot more? If he gets in his car, he'll face costs exceeding $20,000. Does he realize he could have a criminal record for his choice to drive? And it could be much worse if he crashes. Wonder what he'll be thinking tomorrow.
I'm for have a Holden one at 15.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
Hello, and welcome back to the Ordinary People Show. My name is Jacqueline Dixon, and I'm your host, and I'm excited today to be interviewing the founder of Keep6ix, Mr. Richard Miller. Richard, I was so enjoying that conversation before we took that quick commercial break. I want to pick it up there and talk about some of these fabulous initiatives that your organization that you founded is currently engaged with. There's just a long list of things that you are doing outside of what you've already shared. Let me just touch on a couple, and maybe you can just explain to us a little bit more about it. So you are providing, while a person is incarcerated,
Yes.
assistance with pre-parole plans,
Yes.
digital technology training, post-incarceration syndrome awareness, trauma-informed care, goal setting, entrepreneurship, wraparound services, employment preparation, resume building, personal skills assessment, community support for parole board hearing. These are all services you're providing before they even are released.
Yes. The reason behind that is we have to be able to have these individuals ready for their release. You've been inside. A lot of times individuals are incarcerated. They play cards, just waiting for their day. To make a person better and uplift their self-esteem, we provide these services to prepare them. And once they come out, we're able to continue that support for them.
Fabulous. And this is giving them the best possible chance of success upon release.
Right.
But that's not all, because once they're released, you have a whole other set of plans for them. You've got a long list of other services you provide once they're released: peer support, trauma-informed, PIC rehabilitation, gang-involved exit strategy.
Yes.
Tell us about that one.
That is a program that I was very fortunate enough to be working with some wonderful lawyers in our city, Jordana Golis, Alison Craig, and that program is called Gangs for Tuition. That program is a program that individuals that might be in the gang lifestyle or going down the wrong path in life, they're able to go through a program. They're able to connect again into the employment or digital media or even music of their choice and allow them to grow. The program itself is, we're trying to separate individuals from going into the justice system. And if you have gone in there, not to go back in there. So make them very sustainable to move forward in life.
Can you tell us, without, of course, using any real names, about any success stories that you can share with us in rehabilitating an individual and actually having them choose to leave the gang life and turn a new leaf?
I had a young man who was, at a time, might have been about 29 years old, 28. He was shot, I think, 2 or 3 times, lived, and we supported him while he was in. He came out, he went through our program, supported it, and he was able to get into the union. He's, up to this day, working still. He's does rebar, built a very sustainable living for himself with his family, was able to get back together in his children's life and continue to be a positive success. We have a success rate right now out of 100 and I think it was 20-something individuals through our program. We had 0 individual that has gone back into prison.
Amazing. Congratulations to
Thank you.
There's so much to talk about in this short time that we have together, but I also want to shed some more light on some of the things that you're doing within the community. And this isn't necessarily for people that have been incarcerated at all. This is just your way of giving back to the community because of your gratitude for the support that you've been given. I understand that you do food drives.
Yes. So each year I do a food drive, usually at Thanksgiving, at Christmas, to help families. One of the things we're going through right now with the economy and everything else is food securities. Over the years, I was able to have a collaboration with the Black Farmers Collective out of Downsview Park. I've worked very closely with them in planting things and getting back to the community. Now, recently, we've been able to I've been purchasing truckload of food, and I'm able to connect with food for the community, and people can come out and get for their Thanksgiving or Christmas was the last one we did one. I'm planning to do one again in February of this year.
Fantastic. We're looking at some wonderful pictures from some of your staff and one of your events. This looks really bountiful. Congratulations to you. I understand also, along with the food drive that you do multiple times throughout the course of the year, you're also working with young kids in is it basketball or what,
Yes.
what are you doing there?
I've decided that I wanted to keep our young people very busy, but also give them some structure where they have activities and so forth. So last year, I was able to run a basketball program. I was able to get some wonderful funding and support from Foundation for Black Opportunity, and they gave us financial support as we're able to run this program. The program itself is for anywhere from 11 to 14 years old, co-ed, boys or girls, and we're able to play basketball and have other activities for them, throughout the summer months. This year, we'll be running a program up until June. That's what I plan to do.
Fantastic. You know what they say, prevention is better than cure.
Yes.
Get them while they're young, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So, you know what? With all of these things that you're doing, the sky is clearly the limit for you right now, and it seems like nowhere but up. You do find some time to celebrate as well in the community. So I understand that you've met some pretty illustrious people within the community that have given you support as well. I understand you've met Margaret Trudeau. I think we have a picture with, is that Margaret Trudeau wearing one of your T-shirts and
Yes.
modeling one of your T-shirts?
That's definitely Ms. Trudeau. I had the opportunity of being a keynote speaker at Meet the Motivator about 2 years ago, and she was also one of the guest speakers. And we ended up speaking. We sat side by side and ate, and I had the opportunity of providing her with one of the Keep6ix T-shirt, which she modeled with me.
Well, it looks like you guys hit it off really well.
We had a great time.
I understand you also met somebody who is absolutely near and dear, an icon in the Black community, Dr. Jean Augustine.
Yes.
You have an image with her as well?
Yes, I also met her there, and I've met her several times after that. Wonderful support in her community. I've had the opportunity of speaking to her one-on-one and even getting some mentorship from her. So I feel very privileged and blessed for these opportunities and the individual that has come to stand by my side and be able to support me.
Fantastic. Richard, let's talk now about what Keep6ix has in store for future. What are your future plans? What do you envision?
Our future plans at the moment I'm working for the future is towards a transition house. I would like to be able to have a transition facility for young males or females coming out of the institutions after they finish their parole. Housing is a big thing. A lot of our young people now is going into shelters and even being on the street. So that's my goal. I'm also trying to work for the future as a mentorship where our elders, a lot of young people see our elders, someone even like Jean, as just seniors. To me, we need our elders to structure our young people growing up. And that's an elder program I like to put out to have that support for our young people.
Fantastic. Are there any opportunities for community people to help, to support? And if so, in what way can they do that?
We're always looking for financial support from our community. Keep6ix itself, it operates out of my back pocket and hard work as a construction worker, believe it or not. We're also looking for volunteers, if individuals want to give back. We're also looking even for, speakers to come out and mentor you. So whatever individuals in our community feels that they're comfortable with, we're open arms for them to come in and volunteer their time.
And these are members of the community from every background, every race, every culture that feels that they might have something of value to bring to your organization. Is that correct?
That is correct. We look forward, we have to build. To build what we need in our community and structure, we all have to come together.
Fantastic. Richard, earlier you had mentioned that one of the services that Keep6ix provides is services to help newly released individuals find employment. Right. You mentioned the skilled trades. Can you tell us in what way you believe skilled trades can help a newly released individual?
So skilled trades for a new release individual helps them greatly because in the skilled trade, it's not something where you need your criminal background. It's going to affect you. So an individual can walk out of a federal institution or a provincial institution and be able to get the training that they need and be able to get into the skilled trade sector and work. A lot of times in our community, it is something that individuals don't realize or don't have the opportunity and the guidance to be able to get into that field, right? So that's where I kind of take them and nurture them and by their hands, some of them by their hands, to put them on the right path in that sense. We have so many different levels and sectors in the skilled trade where individuals, someone may not want to be a carpenter, someone might want to be a plumber, someone might want to be an electrician, someone might want to work on road construction or into water main or something like that. These are all vast majority of opportunities for our young people.
Fantastic. So what about women? I mean, we're hearing more and more about women and the skilled trades. My understanding, just recently read a report that indicated that the skilled trades industry only carries about 5% of females.
Yes.
Are you interested in having females join as well?
Definitely. As a matter of fact, what's one of our support that we're trying to market this year is our women. Our women now, there are a vast majority that's in the, I am seeing myself coming out in the industry. A lot of them are even operators. I have a young 19-year-old young lady who just finished schooling and she's becoming a crane operator. She's, on site and so forth like that. So we have our women, and I'm 100% support our women coming out into the trades.
Fantastic. Well, the skilled trades has clearly been a huge avenue for you and your personal success. So you're speaking from that perspective of having that lived experience and the financial benefits that it can provide, especially when you consider that in these economic times that we need to try to help young people from re-offending again by giving them the best possible economic opportunities that there are. Would you agree?
I agree with you 100%. I think right now we have to look at a vast majority of things, especially the climate we're living in and even the financial stability. That's one area where you have your pension and you have a great salary, if you to say, to be able to survive. And and it's also transferable skills too, right? Where you can go anywhere and have those skills and use them, right?
Richard, so as we wrap up today's show, can you tell us, how do we get a hold of you? How does an individual or an organization that might want to support you, how do they get a hold of you and Keep6ix?
We're on all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Keep6ix.org, O-R-G, or you can always reach us at 1-800-640-3075. 1-800-640-3075, Keep6ix.org.
Richard, if I had to choose an ordinary person doing extraordinary things person of the year, it would be you.
Thank you so much. And it's my pleasure to come out here and be a part of your show. And you're doing wonderful things. And, it's very uplifting to have these opportunities, but most of all, to have the support of individuals like yourself.
You've got it. Thank you so much for joining us on the Ordinary People Show today, Richard. Best of luck and success to you and your organization.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the Ordinary People Show today. And of course, once again, remember, ordinary people can do extraordinary things. See you.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.